Hello and welcome back to the Game Club Pod. I am joined by two excellent fellows, as you would expect with Game Club. I'm Joey Fitz. I'm joined by usual co-host Alex.
Sure.
Okay, cool. We are also joined by someone who's not yesterday's hero. He's very much today's hero. Straight from one of my favourite podcasts, TalkingSMAC. Definitely Alex's favourite podcast, TalkingSMAC. We're joined by the wonderful Josh. Josh, how are you?
I'm doing well, and I am very excited to be covering the very first board game review. I have our board game copy right here, Trogdor the board game. I am very excited for us to break into this, so I'm ready to go.
Yeah, we've all spent the last 7 days playing Trogdor the video game. The board game. Alex, what did you think of it?
Trogdor the video game is called Peasant's Quest. You can still play it on homestarrunner.com. I'm sorry, homestarrunner.net. It's .com.
Use .com because Josh gets commission for all Trogdor-related activity.
That's what the com stands for, commission.
Exactly. Josh, it's been a really long time since you've been on. How are you doing? What's new in the world of TalkingSMAC? What's new in the world of you? Tell us everything.
Oh, I mean, new in the world of TalkingSMAC is that I have been on Game Club Pod now for third time. Not too much, same old as far as us pushing out content, talking blockbusters. If depending on when this episode comes out, we are going to be talking about He-Man, Masters of the Universe movie.
Nice.
If we're going into July is going to be really busy. We've got the live action Moana movie, which is going to be trash that makes $1 billion. Got Spider-Man, got the Odyssey, lots of big stuff coming up for the summer. So I'm very excited.
Very nice. Well, this comes out Monday the 8th of June. So not this Monday coming, the Monday after, just to date the episode.
So in 2 days' time, you will get your first Two Blokes from Blighty back, as well as the TalkingSMAC He-Man Masters of the Universe movie episode.
Well, I don't mean to get you too excited, Josh. But
oh, come on. You're adding an extra week?
No, Two Blokes from Blighty is out next Wednesday, the 3rd of June.
Woo.
So yeah, Tim's not back in the country, but he is back on the airwaves as of last Wednesday.
Coming back early, all right.
Coming back early, just only because you were kind enough to give us a countdown every single week in our Discord.
So
Alex,
I'll show him. We'll come back a week early.
Is this not when we scheduled? Do I not need to worry about editing the episode that Tim and I recorded about a month ago?
I don't know. You had said... Oh, you guys did edit that. But yeah, you'd said 8 weeks, so I started the countdown the week after.
Doesn't matter then. It'll come out Wednesday. Doesn't matter for this episode because it'll be last week. You'll have episode 2 in 2 days. Alex, it's been a hot second. How are you?
Good. Yeah. Not much to say, really.
And so fucking chatty as well.
Same shit, different week, I suppose, isn't it?
Same shit, different week. Well, Josh, if that doesn't want to make you come back for round number 4, I don't know what will. But we are.
We're doing 3 handsome men in glasses. I mean, how can anyone not want to do this episode?
Alex took his glasses off at the very minute you said that. So
he sure did, and he started playing with his hair like he's doing a L'Oreal commercial.
Yeah, nice.
Clean myself.
Well, before we get into the episode, I am going to say that this week's episode of the Game Club Pod focuses on 2026's Mixtape. So please, if you haven't played the game yet, beware of spoilers ahead, because there's going to be a lot of them. So spoilers ahead for the game Mixtape. But before we talk about Mixtape, we always like to have a little question, get those juices flowing. It's like I can't get out of my my corporate day job life and go, let's do an icebreaker, guys. Let's
get some synergy going, guys.
Let's really get it going.
Let's really get the energy going.
I want to hear. So Mixtape is a coming of age game that focuses very heavily around the soundtrack. If you were to have a soundtrack of your youth, what 2 or 3 songs would you definitely find on there? And I'm going to start with Alex because, you know, Josh is a guest. We've got to be nice to Josh or he won't come back.
Give him more time.
Don't put the guest on the spot. That's good practice.
Thanks. I learned that from TalkingSMAC. Alex, you're first.
So, when I was a kid, there were 3 bands that my mum would always listen to. And obviously, the music your parents listen to kind of affects your taste to some degree. And those three bands were Shakira, Dido,
Nice.
and Meat Loaf.
Nice.
And in particular, Bat Out of Hell. So that would be my first. It's a cheesy song. It's, I mean, by today's standard, it's
excellent.
play
Don't
that-
you put that song down.
You play that song to a modern young person, and they would go, "What is this tripe? Where's the skibbity riz in it?" But,
Skibbity Riz is from the start. Like, come on.
one of those. It's one of those songs that I've always heard all through my life until I left home.
Okay. And what Shakira and Dido songs are we talking?
I could not tell you.
Oh, so just
That one that Dido did with Eminem was on rotation for a bit.
before this call, my mum called me and asked me for help with Excel. And for those who know me, I'm sad and I like Excel. So I was like, yeah, no problem. Let's jump on a Teams call because it's Sunday and I really cannot get out of my shill work life. Let's jump on a Teams call and I'll help you with Excel. And she said, because we've been on there trying to sort this problem for so long, she went, oh, my tea's gone cold. And then I just sat there going, I'm wondering why I got out of bed at all. And she was like, shut up. So I'm glad that got a comeback. Josh, what about you? What 2 or 3 songs encapsulate your youth?
So I was really into like pop punk, a little bit of ska when I was in high school, like the setting of this game. So like my 3 songs that people would probably most identify with me would be practically anything Green Day. But I'll stick with my favorite Green Day song, which is the song on Dookie. It's the song after Basket Case for those that need to know. Another one that I would go for would be Last One Out of Liberty City by Less Than Jake. And then Second Solution by The Living End. Those would be like my 3 songs for my youth that, like, if you want to see me, just like, you want to see 16-year-old Josh like break out of his shell, like play any of those 3 songs and I'm going to just start having fun.
Very nice. Very, very nice. Okay, cool. I don't know the Less Than Jake one. I'll have to check it out. I was going to say I'll put it in here, but we get copyright stricken all the time enough. So
yeah, you don't want to do that.
Let's not do that. Mine, I actually had Bat Out of Hell on my one as well because my mum used to sing it every single Saturday morning, have it on the radio when I was still in bed as a teenager, and it used to drive me up the wall. But it used to get me out of bed because I'd tell her to shut up. so Bat Out of Hell. And then I think the only other one that I really love was Bill Withers' Lovely Day. Used to play that on a student loan day in university because you'd be like flush with cash for a little bit and they'd be the best days because it was always sunny. You go right down to the pub and spend quite a lot of that money. But when I think of Bill Withers' Lovely Day, I think of my student accommodation and nice days out at the pub when you're carefree and funded by the UK government. So, yeah, solid choices.
A couple of honorable mentions I'd love to throw out really
Please.
quick. Speaking of Bill Withers, Lean on Me is one that I could listen to at any given time of my life. And then if you want to throw something that's not like pop punk out there, I would say actually like Manic Monday by the Bangles would be a big one for me. That song is just another one of those that just lifts my spirits and makes me feel young again.
Nice. Well, maybe this episode will come out on a Manic Monday.
We'll make a mixtape of all of our suggestions.
That'd be quite
Put it
fun.
on Spotify.
That'd be cute. That'd be really cute. Anyway, so we're going to talk about Mixtape now. Mixtape was released not long ago. We're recording at the end of May. It was actually released on the 7th of May 2026. Developed by Beethoven and Dinosaur and published by Annapurna. I knew I'd get the name wrong. Annapurna.
It's a cat food company. Like it's Annapurna or Annapurna is the cat food.
Yeah.
This is Annapurna.
Yeah. So, but Annapurna made What Remains of Edith Finch. They also made Donut County, Outer Wilds. They've made loads of kind of really varied
Did they do
stuff.
Stray as well? Yeah,
They did do Stray. Yeah.
which also confused me because I thought, like, oh, the cat food company is making a cat game. That makes sense.
It's like in the game Crash when it was just everyone could make games about everything, and they did. So come to Mixtape if you love donut counting and cat food. But it was released on the Switch 2, PlayStation 5, the Steam, and the Xbox Series S and X. It's a single-player game. Like I said, it's a coming-of-age sort of interactive story. But I feel like most games are interactive story. It's a drama. It's a teen. Would you say it's a visual novel? Is it?
Not quite. It's a point-and-click adventure-ish.
Yeah.
Well, Joey, that is legitimately what I compared this game to, because visual novels are kind of on rails, but this is kind of like a motion visual novel.
Yeah.
Because most visual novels are static, and as I was thinking about what we were going to talk about with this game, I was kind of getting mad because I'm like, there's, not to jump too far ahead, I was just like, this isn't really a game. Like, it's telling me a story that I get to engage with every now and again, but it's not a game in the sense of like I am impacting the story as it's going along. There's not like, it's not like Dispatch where I can choose different paths. Like, it is a very static story.
Yeah.
But there are
It's a movie with quick time events.
more or less, but it's still, I wouldn't say it's a traditional game. And so as I was like getting upset, thinking like, how am I going to talk about this game? I realized like, oh, it's like an American version of a visual novel. Like, that's the best way I can describe this. Is we're too ADHD to enjoy the static image of a visual novel, so we have to make sure the pictures move and there's bright colors, and every like 5 minutes or so we have to be able to engage with it before we just walk away from it.
I think that's a really good kind of overview of what the feel of the game is. But in terms of the game itself, Josh, what did you think of Mixtape?
So another very strong opinion I have is, in any form of media, when you have that movie nerd, comic book nerd, music nerd, whatever nerd you are, if you have that person that is like, oh, well, they're clearly not as good a judge of character or of this thing as I am because I listen to the obscure, or I watch the obscure, or I read the obscure. And so the character of Rockford really rubbed me the wrong way, because that is very much Rockford. And it was a challenge for me, because that's a trope that I just hate. Mostly because like I've been that person in my life and I've gotten over it pretty well. But there are moments where that person still comes out like, well, my opinion is this, and it's right because of these reasons, because I feel this way. But it's like, no, you feel that way because it resonated with you in a way. Mm-hmm. So I thought the game and the story was really well told, even though it used tropes that really kind of affected me in a way that put me in a negative headspace. But like, I eventually grew with it because when you did get to the gameplay elements, they were fun and engaging when you got the opportunity to have them.
Mm-hmm. Okay, cool. Alex?
I was genuinely quite concerned going into this game, because I don't know if we've mentioned it, but Josh was kind enough to buy us all copies purely to, muscle his way back in for a third time, but that's by the by.
It's pay to play to be on Game Club Pod.
Yeah, exactly, 100%. So if you want to join us for next week's episode,
gifts are appreciated.
No, but when I saw it, my biggest concern was this is going to be another Life is Strange, dopey, coming of age, teenage garbage fest, because I did not get on with that game. I played it through, did not get on with it, but this was pleasantly surprising in the way. I think this, and we'll obviously talk about it all in more detail. I think the soundtrack and the art style very much carried it, because as we've discussed, to call it a game is strong. It's a movie with the occasional input, but I think what it lacked for in gameplay and somewhat generic coming of age storytelling, it made up for in spades with the art of it all.
I think that's fair. I'm really glad, Josh, that you said what you said about the main character, Stacey Rockford, because I remember watching the trailer of Mixtape when it came out. I think it was at a Summer Games Fest, and thinking, wow, that looks so cool. It's got the kind of low FPS characters like South of Midnight did, and I loved South of Midnight. It's got the really cool art style, the really cool soundtrack, and the way of telling the story, and that was really reflected. But I really did not like Stacey Rockford at all, who is your main character. And I know that Dan and Dan from our friends at Gaming Views played this and loved it, like right on release. They absolutely loved it. And then they released a short video asking if it's a masterpiece. And I said to Dan P yesterday whilst I was playing through it, I said, I'm going to ask you a question about Mixtape and I want you to reply with one word. Does Stacey Rockford ever become likeable? And he said, I said, that's not a word. And he said, I mean, I didn't find her unlikable, but to be honest, I think she doesn't change at all. And she doesn't change, but I think my opinion of her did. Now, Josh, I didn't like her for exactly the same reason as you. She just, the snobbery around the music really rubbed me up the wrong way.
It was really like hipstery.
Yeah.
I know these obscure facts about these really obscure bands. It's just like, oh, shut the fuck up and put the song on.
But and then I think about the kind of era that the game is set in for these teens. Like, I'm 35 now, and what was really, really, really important to me when I was 17 or 18, 16, 17, 18, pales in comparison to what I think is important now. When I was that age, like, music was mega, mega important to me, and it felt like it really was a really big part of my identity, and who I wanted to be associated with liked the same music. They liked how much I liked that music, and they did the same. And I thought like, the whole story itself is about her wanting to go, and I'll get into the story as we do normally in just a second, but she wants to go and be a musical supervisor, which is the person who chooses the right music for the right moment on theatre, TV, film, etc. And music was her entire personality. Music is absolutely everything to her, to the point where she's willing to jeopardize her friendship with her two only friends in the world. And it's such a youthful, I don't want to say juvenile because it seems like a derogatory term, but it seems like such a youthful way of thinking, that it's that important to someone, something as small to us as the music that goes with something, that she's willing to jeopardize and turn her whole life upside down in order to achieve what she wants to do with music. So when I kind of accepted that, she became a lot less unlikable. She just became another teenager. I wouldn't say that I would ever hang out with her, because I might want to do something like, yeah, strangle. Let's go with strangler. I wasn't going to say anything about myself, but yeah. So I would want to strangle her after about 10 minutes. But as a character in a 3-hour game, she was okay. She was fine. I actually think that Cass, who is one of the friends, and Slater were better characters, and wish we'd maybe spent more time around them. But yeah, I didn't mind Stacey by the end of it.
I mean, that's something I was going to say, was Stacey's your main character, and in a coming-of-age game, you would expect that Stacey would have had these big character growth moments, and she had a couple of sort of minor ones towards the end, where she took the fall for Cass and things like that with the dad and all that. But for the most part, she was just this sort of snobby, obnoxious brat almost. There seemed to be a lot more character development, especially in Cass, to the point that I feel like even though she wasn't designed to be, it almost felt like she was the main character. It was her coming-of-age story, really.
I think it was all of theirs, I think.
Well, yeah, but it seemed very heavily focused on her, with the whole, the controlling parents and the teenage rebellion and everything else.
I think that's fair. Josh, is there anything else you want to say about your experience of playing the game before I get into the story? We'll talk about favourite bits and music and stuff in just a sec.
I agree with both of what you guys said. It's a coming of age story. I agree that I don't feel like Stacy was the right main character, or at least like as a focal character. She was very static, where the only thing she really came to terms with was how her leaving is affecting her friends, even though her friends, they kind of resent her for leaving. Mm-hmm. They feel like she's kind of rubbing it in their faces because they had all these other plans post graduation, and that conflict never really goes anywhere until like 2 lines of dialogue, and then they're just like, okay, we're gonna cry it out and we're good. So like the lack of that kind of resolution really kind of, it left the storytelling nerd in me wanting a little bit more.
Okay.
But I agree pretty much with everything you guys said. It just, Stacy she grows as you become more engrossed in the story. I just I really wish they had put a little bit more time into letting them kind of be real people for a little bit longer, because that's probably the biggest flaw of this, is that the main crux of the story is that Stacy is leaving tomorrow, and they had like a post graduation trip planned with Cass and I'm forgetting the Slater. Thank you. I was gonna call him Stu. Slater and Cass. They were they had like this big like West Coast trip planned that Stacy was gonna create a whole soundtrack for all their stops. And now that's not happening because she's going to go shoot her shot in New York and basically, presumably, never come back.
Yeah.
And so that idea, it plays out more with Slater than it does with Cass. Cass's story more revolves around what happens with her dad. Mm-hmm. And that's kind of where her resolution and her conflict with Stacy kind of intermingles. But there's never really a great direct conversation between the two of them other than, hey, it sucks that you're leaving, but what can I do? You're going to go shoot your shot, and that's awesome. So good luck to you. So like that's where a big part of my problem with the story is that even though they're teenagers and they're acting very teenager-like, they should have some emotional knowledge and maturity to be like, hey, can we just talk? Yeah. And that's the most human thing someone can do. And they just decide that it's not something that it has the time to happen.
That's fair. We'll get into it a little bit more as we go through. So I mean, we've spoiled lots already, but the story now, it's set in the late 90s in the fictional town, what I hope is the fictional town of Blue Moon Lagoon, California. We all want to live in Blue Moon Lagoon. So Stacey Rockford is a teenager who is planning to move to New York to be a music supervisor. As I said, that's someone who chooses the right music for the moment on TV, film, theatre, wherever you have music to portray an emotion. Her whole plan is to fly to New York and pitch her cassette tape to a music supervisor. But we find ourselves in this night in Blue Moon Lagoon, which happens to be her last night, and the night of the really big party of the cool girl that they don't actually know very well, apart from Cass, who does. That's all revealed through the story. So, the friends, Slater is is he meant to be a stoner? He's
a stoner. He's 100% a stoner.
Yeah, beanie, really wispy mustache.
The first line that he says is "char."
Char, yeah. And then the other friend is Cass, who is, her whole identity is about being rebellious. She is exceeds at everything she does, but doesn't want to do what her parents want her to do. So she's quite literally says, I am going to rebel at everything that they make me do. She just wants to cause trouble. The game starts off with Stacey talking to camera about CDs and music, and this becomes a bit of a theme. As you go, you get introduced to the tracks. Each track that they talk about, each track that's played is spoken about and explained why it is where it is in the game. by Stacey, and then right at the end by Slater, which I thought was quite good. But you go through a series of dreamlike sequences throughout the game, but the crux of what they're doing is trying to get alcohol for the party that they're going to later, and they want it to be the best night ever, dude. So that you have flashbacks about how they met Cass, nights that Cass showed that she's excellent at baseball. There's a whole stone skimming thing. It's one of those games where I actually think the fluff around the story made the game immensely better, and that's quite a rare thing in these kind of games. But what ends up happening is the beach party is at risk of getting shut down by the cops. They say, we know a cool place in the woods, and then that starts to get shut down by the cops. And then they all make it away, and they have the really cool, fun night together that everyone wanted before Stacey runs away to New York, which is still happening despite all of the game and all of her friends saying, we'll never see you again. Coming of age story. They do what they said they were going to do at the start. They rebel. They have massively amplified personalities. What was your favourite point in the game, Josh?
The video store. That was probably my favorite one.
Did you get the achievement in there?
Yes, I did.
Well done.
I was originally trying not to knock off the cassettes from the shelves, and then I went, there's probably an achievement for this. Let's see how many I have to knock off. And
Nice.
So I just started leaning, and you just hear the poor cashier be like, "Come on, man!" And then
I'm not cleaning that up.
If you bump the stand, you're like, "Oh, I was gonna take that home."
So, what Josh is referring to, there's a sequence as Slater, and all three of them are outside on the hood of a car, staring up at the sky, and Stacey and Cass
It should be
go,
noted this is a flashback as well.
Yeah, sorry.
A big portion of the gameplay segments are flashbacks.
Yeah, but Cass and Stacey say, Slater, go in and get us a movie to watch later, and it's like an old school blockbuster style thing. But as you take control of Slater, you are absolutely off your face drunk, and you have to choose 2 of the weekly specials and 1 new release. Not a lot happens in it, but it was very funny, knocking absolutely everything off the shelves. And I'm very glad, Josh, that you managed to get the achievement for knocking 200 DVDs off the shelves. Well done. Did you get that, Alex?
No, I didn't.
Oh, what a shame.
Alex was a good boy. He didn't rebel.
I found what I wanted to find and then proceeded to continue to knock everything off until nothing was on the shelves. So, yeah. So that was your favourite part of the game, Josh?
I think so. I also really enjoyed the baseball segment where, as a Chicago guy, I very much recognized that they created Wrigley Field around the stadium as you kept hitting home runs. So even though I'm not a Cubs fan, I appreciate that they were like, "Hey, let's throw Wrigley Field in here."
Very cool. Yeah, it was a good sequence, that was. How about you, Alex? What was your favourite part of the game?
I really liked the stone skimming part, and I don't know why. I don't know why I enjoyed it, but there was just something. It was one of the few parts that felt like it was an actual skill-based video game almost. Because you've got this tiny little pinpoint reticle, and there's all this crap on the lake, and it's like, go on, you know you want to do it. And I might have spent about 15 minutes doing it, just skimming stones, and there's an achievement for getting it through a hanging tire.
Did you clear the lake? Did you get rid of everything?
I think I got to a point where I thought I had, and I walked away from it, and then realised that, oh shit, no, there was a TV right at the back.
Oh, there's no achievement for hitting all the TVs, don't worry, I found out.
Damn.
Did you hit the boat and the boat sped off down the lake?
No, I didn't hit the ball.
Yeah, if you hit the boat speeds off down the lake. That was good. I think, sorry Alex, I cut you off there. Any other moments?
There was a moment where they're in Slater's bedroom, because there's a whole, you go through everyone's bedrooms through the game, and there's a bit where Slater plays a song from this album that he's writing. He plays a B-side from his album, and it might be my favorite bit of music I heard on the entire game, because it's very much like I'm quite into synth and sort of vaporwave and stuff like that, and I was just there like, yeah, I'd listen to an album by this guy. But he describes it as he's wanting to write a synth odyssey about spaceships, wizards, and dragons, and it's like, yeah, do it, guy. I'll listen to it. I'll buy it.
That's a bit of you there.
Mm-hmm.
So no love for the bit where we learn about Stacey's first kiss, and you have to control the two tongues as they sloppily.
I think I was
interact with each other.
more concerned about the fact that they made it an achievement to make out for 60 seconds in the game, because I logged out of that one pretty quick. I was like, I get it. I'm moving on.
I got it, but I got the achievement purely because I was trying to just make them lick each other's teeth, which made me laugh.
We're learning a lot about Joey tonight.
I just enjoyed it. It was just good. Not that bit in particular. I mean, the game.
I took a picture of it and sent it to you two going, was this bit really necessary?
Well, I'll get onto that in a minute. I really enjoyed the bit with the field where you're basically following a map that Stacey's sister has left for you to go to, like a secret hideout. And she goes, oh, it's on the other side of the field. And all of a sudden you will just start running, and as you're running, you're being caught by the air and being thrown up into the air. I just thought that bit was really, really well done.
Well, I think there's a lot of sections in the game that are a bit sort of, wacky, hyper realistic, magic type stuff, and I think to me the idea they were going for was, this is what the music is like. They were running across a field, but in their heads they were floating away because of this music that they were listening to, and I think it's really nice metaphors in a very visual way.
Yeah. Well, I'll get onto that in a second. I've got two more really quick ones. I loved the scene where you had to get to find Cass, who's drinking in a parking lot because her
Ferris
dad's on the
Bueller's
way.
segment. Yes, that part was really good too.
But the song on it, Yesterday's Hero, was just so good. And I think that was my favourite song of the whole thing. I tried listening to the soundtrack of this in the car today, and I realised that I think actually quite a lot of the music is shit. But it worked really well together. But Yesterday's Hero by John Paul Young was really, really good. Enjoyed that a lot. That is one of the songs that made it all the way through, as well as Devo. Devo made it through. But the other thing I loved was a very small throwaway line. They were telling a story about Cass, and when she got wasted at a party, and to escape the police, they had to put her in a shopping cart, and they were going down these hills, and then it cut all of a sudden to a news reporter who's following in a chopper above, and he says something along the lines of, there are 3 teenagers escaping the police going down I-95 in a shopping cart. In all of my time as a news presenter, I've only seen this 4 or 5 times, and it made me laugh out loud. I thought that was really funny. I also like the bit where they found the booze in the hangout cabin, and like all of the light came out, and it played. Was it Ode to
The Pulp
Joy?
Fiction briefcase idea.
Yeah, it's really good. I enjoyed that. That song just makes you think of John Oliver because he did "Fuck the European Union" to the tune of it. So, yeah, if you know that, that's what I'm talking about. But I thought with this game, it felt to me like there was a bunch of people who got together who loved music, and they just wanted to put visuals to how music made them feel. It felt like their writing sessions may have been them sat in a room listening to music with their eyes closed, and then once it finishes, silently writing down how it made them feel, what emotions it had, and then they just put that in the game, which I don't think is a bad thing. Yeah, I don't know. Like, it's very much, it's called Mixtape. It's a game that focuses very heavily on its soundtrack, and the only other piece of media that I thought could does that as much as it felt like Mixtape did. It gave me a real feeling of Guardians of the Galaxy and how they incorporate soundtrack within the first Guardians of the Galaxy, not so much in the later ones. What was your favourite song in the game? Alex, you said yours. Josh, what was yours?
I think I would have to go with the original song that they had done as well, because like most of the music didn't really resonate with me.
Okay.
And they even threw an extra dagger at me, because there was a point where I can't remember if they were just sitting in Cass's room or if it was in a flashback, but they were like, "Oh, what is this person? What kind of music does this person like?" And like, "Oh, you know, the huge Green Day, Pearl Jam," and Rockford just goes, "Ugh." And I was like, "Motherfucker!"
They were talking about. I think it was they were in Cass's bedroom and they were talking about a guy that Cass was thinking of getting with at the party, and she's like, and Rockford's there like in her usual bitchy way. "All I need to know is what music he's into, and that'll tell me everything about him."
And that's why Josh never liked Stacey Rockford. Does that
I can't remember the song, but the falling out moment with Cass, where like Cass blows up at her, and then you
Love by the Smashing Pumpkins.
You run away and you just start flipping off the cars and they all explode. I really enjoyed that sequence.
Yeah, Love by the Smashing Pumpkins. That was. Yeah, that was good.
And see, I'm not a Smashing Pumpkins guy, so like that explains why I was like, I don't know, whatever. But then we got to that part. I was like, I've been that kid. I've been walking down the street flipping off cars thinking they're exploding. That's the best idea ever.
Yeah, and I remember that one because it's one of them that I had to turn off. Not very many songs in this game have swearing in, but my 4-year-old son cannot listen to the Smashing Pumpkins because I'm worried that there might be lots of swearing in it. Is there anything else in the game that really caught you that you think is worth talking about here, or do you want to talk about scores?
Let's talk.
I was going to say we can kind of segue between the two, because it's like what you asked Dan. Like, this game has had a reception where it is getting a lot of like 10 out of 10s, perfect scores, all-time classics. For me, I don't know that I would necessarily agree, because I don't think it hits the things that I needed to hit for a game. Like, it's not Expedition 33 by a mile. It is not Expedition 33, but it's a game and a story that can resonate with you. It's something that can activate that youthful side of you, or can just make you feel nostalgic, especially being set in the 90s, where like Stacey Rockford would just be on Spotify creating her own playlists and just getting famous and becoming an influencer just based off of her playlists that she shares online. Mm-hmm. But setting it in the 90s, where she's just some obscure teen in the middle of nowhere, California, you have this story of her trying to like ascend and go chase her dream. So like that becomes more important in terms of like the overarching story between her and her friends. So like, where does this fall for you guys in terms of like, does it still hit like a 10 out of 10 for you in terms of like an experience? Like, maybe that's the way you have to view this game, is it's more of an experience than it is a game. Like, it's not The Legend of Zelda on the NES. It's not Breath of the Wild. I know these are bad examples for you, Alex, having never played a Zelda. Never properly.
You picked them specifically to target me, didn't you?
I literally I was like, don't say Breath of the Wild. Think of something else. And then I just said it, and I was like, Alex has never played a Legend of Zelda, so a proper Legend of Zelda, I should say.
It's no Wonder of Gamelon. That's what Josh is saying.
That's a classic for a different reason. But like, where would you guys put this in terms of media and experience, as far as like something that you have sat down, experienced, thought about, like how did it make you feel in that experience?
I think it's certainly not a 10 out of 10 by any means. I think people who are saying that it's revolutionary and it's the greatest piece of storytelling media might be speaking hyperbole a little bit, probably because it talks to them a lot more than it does, 3 white men in their mid to late 30s.
You're being generous. Thank you.
But it's par 3 hours, give or take. It's got some good soundtracks on it. It's got some good bits in it that you think, yeah, I can, 18-year-old me could relate to that back in the day. I didn't feel like my time had been wasted playing it, or experiencing it, shall we say, because playing is...
It's a generous term.
Yes.
I think that sums it up, really. I didn't feel like it was a waste of time. I'm glad that I'm going to say played it. I'm glad that I played it. I opened it from Steam, therefore I played it. But I think it's not a 10 out of 10. It's not the kind of game that I would usually go to, but I'm really glad that I did play it. I think that it felt like... And Josh, actually, the point that you made about the storytelling need that you have, not really feeling like this hit it, I get it, because this feels like a chapter of a much longer story. This feels like it could be, those games where they release chapter 1 as like free so that you buy
episodics,
next one and next one and next one. It feels like it could be that. I don't think it will be, and I'm glad, but it feels like part of a story. So I think for that reason I can't say it's a 10 out of 10. I think visually, well, let's get on to scoring. Let's do scoring, and we can bring all this out. We can do quite a long scoring section for this. So we break this down into visuals, audio, and sound, and gameplay and storytelling. So visually, for me, this game looked excellent. It was interesting. It was fun. I really like the visuals around Blue Moon Lagoon, even if it's a stupid name for a town. It had that feel of like a tiny town in the mountains of California, which does California have mountains? I don't know. There'll be hills somewhere.
It does, yes.
Okay, thanks, Josh.
Yeah, more Northern California.
I'm glad we brought in our resident USA for this.
Your resident American.
Resident American. Yeah, it felt like a small town in that, and it looked like it. There are sequences in complete black and white where you feel like you've been betrayed or hurt by your friends. The bit with the flying cars gave me like I just feel like every single scene in this is told in a way that's meant to amplify the emotion, and the visuals really did that. So I think for me, visually, I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10, which I think is really positive. The reason that it knocked it down is this game killed my computer. I don't know how it did it, because I've been running like Forza Horizon 5 on high settings, but on low settings of this game, my computer stopped and I had to restart it twice. I know that's not a visual thing, but it was caused by the visuals of this game. So, yeah, that's 8 out of 10 for me for that.
I'm baffled that managed to happen to you.
I know. How about you, Josh? How about the visuals of the game?
I think 8 out of 10 is fair. I played this kind of split between my Steam Deck adapter, where I could play it on my TV with a wireless Xbox controller, and then I also played it on the actual Steam Deck. My Steam Deck is either getting overwhelmed or it's becoming more out of date. I did buy it like at the start of the pandemic, so it's getting close to the end of its life cycle. So like when I was playing it on the handheld version, the graphics were a little more stuttery than like I think they intended, but I really dig for lack of a better word, the Spider-Verse style of animation, where it's the low frame rate, where things don't quite line up. The lip syncing isn't quite there, but it's aesthetically pleasing in a really weird way.
Yeah.
Yeah, visually, I think it's a phenomenal experience.
Nice.
So 8 out of 10, I think, is a fair score, considering. I think if it was longer and they had more sequences, maybe it could get bumped up. But with what we got, I think 8 out of 10 is fair.
Nice. Alex?
Yeah, I mean, visually speaking, as Josh said, it's got that sort of it's very much a claymation style, stop frame animation style. It's, to me, it looks like it's animated on 2s or 3s, which is what gives it that sort of jittery look to it. And I think that is a very hard thing to animate well, because you've got to be really careful that it doesn't just look jittery because you're a shit animator. It has to look intentional, which can be really hard to balance. I think everything from the way the world's built to all the choices of colors, everything was really, really well designed. For me, the visuals are a 9, and I think it is just because I'm into my animation, and it was something in a world where every single studio is striving for photorealism or high fantasy photorealism. It's nice, and it was. I think I said a similar thing when we did South of Midnight. It's nice to see something different.
Mm-hmm. True. All right. Good. Nice. So 8, 8, and 9 from us. Now, big one. The audio and sound of the game. I'm going to start with Alex, because I feel like you've been asked last every time. What did you think of the audio and the sound of Mixtape?
I mean, most of the soundtrack is just songs that exist in the world. There's nothing that's been particularly well. There's not really a lot that's been made by the dev team or an outsourcing company. It is a lot of like you said, we really like this particular song by Portishead. We'll take that. We really like this Mitch Murder song. We'll take that. But they've done it in such a way that they're using the songs as storytelling elements. They've really, really thought about, because they could have just got, they could have gone for any particular love song or any happy-go-lucky song or any depressed I'm mad at the world type song. It feels like the choices were very, very intentional. And the rest of the sound design, the voice acting's not bad at all, which was another concern for me. I was worried it's going to be a bit sort of, because it's an indie game, and a lot of the times with indie games you do run a risk of having non-professionals, and it's very clear that they're non-professionals. But I think they did well. The 3 main characters are unique enough to each other that it doesn't just sound like the same person talking 3 different voices. I think while nothing was or very little was directly made by them, the composition of it all was excellent. I think it's, for audio, I'm going to give it an 8. Because unlike Josh, I actually really enjoyed some of the songs on the game.
It's not that Josh didn't enjoy the songs, it's the songs didn't enjoy him. It's
is that it?
Yeah. Josh, how about you? So Alex gave it an 8. What do you think, audio and sound design?
I think I'm going to go 9. It's one of those things where I feel like they accomplished what they set out to do, and they did it very well. I don't know that it's perfect, because I do think that there are missed opportunities, and there are some moments where they're repeating sounds, or it's just like a really basic, like they just pulled something off of Pixabay or something. So like there's room for growth in what they did, but I think given that it's a 3.5-hour game, they probably turned this thing around in 12 months, maybe a little bit longer, but like it probably did not have a very long development time. I think with what they put out there as a final product, with like almost no patches as of right now, I think a 9 for me.
Nice. Josh, you can come on again, because I also gave it a 9. So we're equally balanced at the moment with our scores. I think you guys have hit the nail on the head. I'm not sure, Alex, I agree about there not being that many extra sounds within the game other than the soundtracks. I think that if that was the case, it wouldn't feel like a proper world that's in the game, but I think it did.
I don't think I worded it very well. In terms of the soundtrack itself, there was only 1 or 2 songs that were made
Oh, yeah.
for it. I think I didn't word it well. I know,
Okay.
obviously, it's very much a living, breathing world.
Okay. But like I said earlier, it feels like people that have put visuals to music, and I think if you do that, your audio and your sounds are always going to be strong. I mean, the game is called Mixtape. It's all about a mixtape. It's about being a music, whatever it was, supervisor, can't remember the name of the title. Everything that they have and do and breathe is music. So if they got that wrong, I feel like it wouldn't have been an enjoyable experience at all.
The real twist of everything, the real twist of everything is that Stacy ends up becoming the music supervisor who puts How to Save Your Life in every medical drama from the mid to late 2000s.
Well, I mean, you say that, but the job of a musical supervisor is to have that correct song to that. And now, when I watch The Pit and someone dies, I'm like, step 1, you say we need to talk. And I blame Dr. Cox for that. So, yeah, nice scrubs jimmied in there, Josh. I'm a big fan.
That's more or less what I was going for. I could have also done Hallelujah. That's another one that's on every medical drama. House, Scrubs, Grey's Anatomy.
Okay, so going into the last score, gameplay and storytelling, I feel like, well, Josh, can I let you go first on this one? Storytelling and gameplay.
So you're throwing a curveball at me, because if you were going to say gameplay, I would have said a 4. Okay. I think the gameplay works fine, but if you're implementing storytelling into it as well, the gameplay, the music, and the storytelling are all integrated together to work as an experience. And so in that case, I think I would give it a 7.5, because I still think that there are some elements that don't quite work for me. Like the moment where she finds out that Cass is hanging out with Jennifer Godspeed, or Goodspeed, whatever her name is.
Proper name is Jennifer fucking Goodspeed.
Jenny fucking Godspeed.
Jenny fucking Godspeed. That scene where you're literally just flying backwards through town and through like debris and garbage.
Mm-hmm.
That was boring to me. Like, I understood the implication of it, but that sequence went on for way too long. And that's something that I think if you have someone play test it, even though you want to play the entire song, you need to add something extra to it. And so I think segments like that really hurt the experience, especially with it being pretty early on in the game. Like, I think that's while you're still in Stacy's room, before you move on to Cass's house and then Slater's house. So like that's a really early sequence where all of a sudden you're just really boring your player, or at least you're boring me. And so what did I say? 7.5?
7.5, yeah.
I'll stick with 7.5.
Okay. Alex, you're up next.
Gameplay and storytelling. I think I'm going to have to give it a 6.
Okay.
Because there is, barring, a quick time event to hit a baseball and a little bit of an aiming game to throw stones across a lake, most of it is press forward or a direction on the D-pad. You could play this game one-handed, really.
A lot of the stuff is ancillary. Like, you're playing, when you're doing the skateboarding stuff, you can option to ollie or like kick flip or something, but it's not essential to anything. There's
no sort of bits where it's like, oh, ollie over this car quickly. And I understand what they were going for. They wanted to give you. They didn't want you focusing on gameplay because they wanted you to be focusing on the story and how the music intertwines with the story and everything. I get that. I feel like there are better ways they could have done that. And I said it before, this story is very much not built for 3 white dudes in their mid-30s or early 40s in Josh's case.
Ooh,
I suppose. But I think to to someone who's like in their late teens or their very early 20s, who might be going through a similar situation, the story might really hit quite hard for them. It just didn't for me, so it was all it's a bit wishy-washy.
Interesting. I also gave gameplay and storytelling an 6. I like Josh, our scoring. We said it every single time we brought the new scoring system in. It is flawed, but we need to be consistent against other games. Gameplay low, storytelling high. I thought it told a really good story really well. I just don't think there was a lot of gameplay around it, so I'm giving it a 6 out of 10. Now, the bit that I said interesting when Alex finished is I don't think someone in their 20s that plays this would have it feel the same as someone in their 30s or 40s, because they didn't experience the 90s. They didn't see when you had a CD player that skipped when you went over a bump in the car, or I mean, I know record stores are kind of making a bit of a comeback, but like that wasn't important to someone who's 20 years old. I feel like this game is almost made for like the sweet point of people who are a little bit older gamers, 30s, 40s, 50s, who experienced the 90s at the time that Stacey Rockford is experiencing it, but also with the 3.5 hour playtime are being quite kind to someone who has a busy schedule and a life, because a lot of games don't do that at the moment. So, I mean, I'm sticking with my 6 out of 10 for gameplay and storytelling, but I do wonder who this game is made for, because there was a lot of chat of Aura around the start, and I was like, oh my god, they're Gen Z.
But I think that was more like Stoner Wizard, oh, I can see your aura kind of thing. I think I retract my statements about it being not being designed for us, because you are right. There is so many references to, as you say, cassette tapes and the mini game where you have to rewind the tape with a pencil.
That was good.
There's a scene when you're driving down the road in Slater's car and you go over a pothole and the tape sort of stops and it's fucked. And it buggers the whole car up as well, and things like that. There are a lot of little references, like the lava lamps and the whatever the buzzy electric balls called that I've completely forgotten the name of.
Yeah.
Did anyone else's lava lamp glitch out on them? Mine was just a big clump of nothing at the top of the lava lamp. It wasn't like swirling or anything.
No, the only real glitch I had is the Smashing Pumpkins bit. At first, it wouldn't let me turn, so I kept hitting a car and getting reversed. And then when I reloaded the save, Stacey didn't load in, so it was just a skateboard shouting "fuck you" at cars that drove past. She loaded in she loaded in after a little while, but
Tony Hawk is different.
2026 Tony Hawk hits different. Okay, so Alex, what does that give you as an average of yours?
Let me do
your scores were 9.
Visuals at 8.3.
23 over 3, so
come on, Alex, you can
7.66.
Yeah, thank you, Josh. I got yours.
That's what it is. I forgot you guys do a cumulative after the fact.
Yeah, we do.
I've got an 8.3 for visuals, 8.7 for sound, and then a 6.5 for gameplay storytelling.
Well, but your overall average score, Josh, you gave this an 8.1 out of 10. How do you feel about that?
I think that's okay. I would prefer something closer, like a 7.5, but okay. I wouldn't be deterred if someone told me like, oh, well, what you sounded like was an 8.1. Okay, yeah, that's pretty good.
So the scoring system works. Let's keep it forever, is what Josh is saying. But 7.6 for Alex, 7.6 for me, 8.1 for Josh. Gives us a 7.8 out of 10 overall for Mixtape, which I think
that's fair.
Good score, fair score. Thank you so much, Josh, for coming in and talking about Mixtape for an hour with us. I would like you to... I know if anyone listens to Two Blokes from Blighty, they've heard the most incredible advert for a podcast they've ever heard in their lives. But can you just tell us about Talking Smack, why people should listen, where they can find you, etc.
Oh yeah, sure there. Talking Schmack every Wednesday on your podcatcher of choice. Sorry, I didn't mean to let my British accent come out.
Yeah, very good, very good.
Yeah, every Wednesday, Talking Smack, we talk superheroes, movies, animation, comics, and much, much more. Me and my co-host, not this Alex, but a different Alex that lives in my area. We've known each other for a long time now. We just talk blockbuster movies. Sometimes we'll talk over movies and do commentaries. It's a newer thing we're trying. Seems to be working out pretty well. Sometimes we'll have guests on, and we just like talking the industry, so we just keep doing it. And we talk comic books every now and again.
Nice.
We just had a What You Doing. Those are some of my favorites. And yeah, every Wednesday, find us. Hopefully they link a podcast link in the episode description.
We will do.
If not, you can always find me in the Game Club Pod Discord, linking every episode in the self promo channel.
Yeah. What You Doing and Smackdowns are my favourite that you do, Josh.
Yeah, we skipped the Smackdowns this year. I didn't have the time to do it. So
they'll come back,
right? We'll make an supersized one for 300.
Okay.
Can't imagine the energy and everything else that must go into that.
Oh, I'm not the one that brings the energy for those. But yeah, for the pre-planning, yeah. We were gonna try and do it this year. I have a buddy who owns a movie theater not too far from us, but world events happened and gas prices skyrocketed, and I wasn't gonna make Becky drive from St. Louis to join us for $5 a gallon gas just so we could talk on a podcast for an hour. So we just kind of did our own thing and ended up just making it just another episode where we talked about Devil Wears Prada 2, which surprisingly did really well for us. So maybe we just need to talk Devil Wears Prada every 50 episodes or so.
You could become a Devil Wears Prada
SmackDowns
2.
will come back. Yeah,
Devil Wears Prada 2 podcast. My Talking Smackdowns now will be Josh versus Stacey Rockford. And we'll see who comes out. You have to wait for episode 300 for that, though.
Is she over 18? I don't think I can fight her if she's not over 18.
She is now. This was from the 90s. She's
Oh, that's true. She's older than me.
Exactly.
She would have been, what was this? Was this taking place in 1994, 91, something like that?
I think it's 94 or 5 I have in my head. I can't.
So I would have been 9 years old. She's 10 years older than me. She's in her 50s. Yeah, I could break a hip.
Yeah. Well, there's a spoiler for that fight. Josh, thank you so much for coming on. Alex, thank you so much.
I'm glad the check cleared.
Thank you so much for being Alex, jizzed in a space shrimp. And I've been Joey, and we will catch you next time for another episode of Game Club Pod. I can't remember what it is. This is BAP next. No, it's not BAP next. No, it's BAP next. BAP next week. So yeah, enjoy BAP next week, and we'll see you very soon. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.